For by him all things were created, in heaven, on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities. All things were created through him and for him. See that Jesus is the creator and sustainer of the universe. I love this concept. It's so wild. First off, just kind of as a side note, some people freak out, well, what if we find out there's aliens? Like, what does that do to God? Nothing. I mean, God created them, right? He created angels. Like, angels are alien. Whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities, that's talking about the spirit world, angelic beings. They're not of this earth. God created them. God created human beings. God created axolotls. God created whatever microorganisms have sprouted in my middle school boys' room. Like, you know, just because we discover new creations does nothing except enhance the majesty of God. But it's not just that they were created. It's who created them and why they were created. And what this says is that it was Jesus who created them. All things were created by Jesus and for Jesus. And so you think about this. The greatest supernova in the furthest reaches of the universe was created by Jesus, for Jesus. But then if you go all the way in, I'm thankful that I got out of high school and college when I did, because we were down to like protons and neutrons and electrons, and I learned something about quarks, which make them up. And now you got to learn about strings too. So supposedly, it sounds like wizardry to me, but like, you know, the fundamental fabric of the universe are these little oscillating strings that vibrate at some kind of different frequency that come together to make up quarks, that come together to make up protons and neutrons and electrons, that form together to make up atoms, that combine in a certain way to make up molecules, that will string together to make nucleotides and these different things that then form together to make these incredibly complex single-celled organisms, that these single cells then amass together to create living, reproducing, conscious life. And if you think that that could all come from nothing or no one, you have more faith than me. And science, which I'm not anti-science, I love science. But we have to confess something. Science is figuring out how. They know that things are. They're trying to figure out how things happened. They're not touching why. But when you think of your life, if they exist, from the smallest little string or quark or atom that constitutes you, to the very essence of who you are, and the generations that came before you to make it to here, and any generations that come after you, you were made by God, for God. And more specifically, you were made by Jesus, for His pleasure. Revelation says, all things, or, by you they were created, and for your pleasure they were created. So you're trying to figure out the meaning of your life. You're worrying about insignificance, or that you don't measure up enough, or that you haven't achieved enough, or all of this stuff. And then you realize, no, wait a minute. I was made by Jesus, for Jesus. What more significance are you ever going to have? Are you going to become mayor of Stewart one day? Is that going to bump you up to the next level? You're made by the creator of the universe, for the creator of the universe, for his pleasure, and that's where your meaning is found.